Did you know Microsoft just unlocked Copilot Plus AI features for your Windows 365 Cloud PCs, and you don't need to buy a Copilot Plus enabled PC to get them? If you're managing Windows 365 Cloud PCs in your environment right now, stick around because today I'm going to show you exactly how to enable Copilot Plus AI features for your Windows 365 Cloud PCs. And Microsoft quietly dropped this into public preview, and most admins haven't even found it yet. And the best part, it's zero additional hardware cost. So your users get AI features like click to do and improve Windows search running on your existing Windows 365 Cloud PC SKUs. So what we're going to cover in today's video is how to enable all this functionality. So we'll get you signed up to the Frontier program. We'll enable all the configuration with Intune. We'll discover what SKUs that you need to do to have this enabled because there is a minimum SKU. Then we'll look at how much all this costs, and then we'll look at some demos. And then most importantly, we'll think, well, is this actually worth it? Because if you look at the features, then you look at the cost, you need to make a decision whether this is right for you and your business because there is quite a bit of a cost to it. All right, that's enough of the theory. What we'll do now is we'll head over into the portal. We'll look at how to enable the Frontier functionality, and then we'll actually go and create some stuff in Intune, and then we'll log on to the desktop and off we go. All right, let's get to it. So to enable the Windows 365 AI features, we actually need a minimum SKU, right? And that minimum SKU is 8 CPUs, 32 gigs of RAM, and 128 gig hard disk, right? So that's the absolute minimum SKU. So how much does that cost? So let's have a quick look. So I'm here on the pricing page for Windows 365 Enterprise. Now, obviously, discounts are available from Microsoft, but retail price at the moment for the minimum is £106.90 a month. So not cheap, right? Now, if we think about what a normal one would be without that, you're probably looking at, I don't know, 4 CPU and 16 gigs of RAM, that's £57. So quite a big jump up to go to the 32 gigs one with 120 gigs. So that's like 106.90. So that's the absolute minimum SKU at this moment in time, and that you'll need to run. And this could obviously need a bit of power to use the local AI functionalities because you're essentially offloading a lot of the features onto the local processor slash NPU. So yeah, that's the first thing to look at. And then once you've purchased that, we then need to go and enable the functionality within Intune. So we'll head over to the Intune portal, and then we'll show you how to do that then. All right, so I'm in the Intune portal. So what we'll do now is we'll head over and we'll actually enable the AI feature. Obviously, you need a provisioning policy to do that. There's nothing on the actual provisioning policy itself, which is for this, but obviously you need to have the minimum SKU length, which we've discussed. So to enable this, basically, we go to devices. Okay, and you go to Cloud PCs, so you can see here. Now, the first place to enable this is actually in Cloud PC settings. Okay, so if I go on to Cloud PC settings here, you go to create a new setting, and you can have these different settings here. So we'll go to Cloud PC configurations. Okay, so name, so we'll call this Windows 365 Cloud PC enable example. And we go to here. And then, so this is where we configure the actual configuration itself. So it says AI enabled features Frontier. Okay. So that you can see that there where basically you'll only enable it for 8 CPUs and 32 gigs of RAM. And so that's this here. It says 256 gig. That's actually 128. It works fine with 128. And so Microsoft just need to update it. So we just click enable for that. Okay. Go to next. Set scope types if you need to. And then assignment. So here you can use a group, right? So you can notice that your groups, not individual users. So I've got an existing group that I had, which I added myself into, and that's called the Windows 365 AI desktops. So select that, select next, and then basically that's all you need to do. Just click on create. I'm not going to go and create this because I've already got one enabled, but this is the process that you'd have to go through. So basically enable that within the Intune portal. Okay, so when you've done that, there's another step which actually involves logging on to the actual Windows 365 device itself. And then there's a setting which you need to change. We'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, I'm logged onto my Windows 365 device. And then first thing we need to do is we go to local group policy editor. Go to computer configuration, administrator templates, Windows components. And then if we go down to Windows update, manage end user experience. Then we have this setting here. It's called enabled features introduced by servicing that are off by default. So we need to enable this so it downloads the additional components that it needs for it. Okay. Historically, you had to use the Windows Insider Edition to get this to work. On the notification from Microsoft website, it says you don't need that anymore. I've downloaded the latest Insider version anyway, just to make sure. But we basically need to go to this feature here and then enable this and just flick that to enable. And then once you've done that, just reboot and then go into the Windows Update section. And I'll just quickly show you that where I enabled the Windows Insider, just in case you do need to pull those latest features down. I just went into here, went into the Windows Insider section, and then just signed up for here. So I'm signed up for the beta channel. So that makes sure that I'll get all the latest releases and all the features in there as well. Okay. All right, that's how you enable it. Now, it did take a bit of time, so you do have to reboot the device a few times just to install those latest updates. And then what I'll do now is I'll actually go through and show you how to check that it's actually enabled. And then once we can see that's enabled, we'll do some testing and we'll see what it gives you. And we'll have a quick discussion to see whether we actually think it's worth paying £106 a month for a Cloud PC for this feature. So let's go and take a look. Okay, so now we'll see, how do we check if it's enabled or not? So how do we differentiate it from any other Windows 365 device? Just going to head over into the Windows app. So as you can see here, I've got two Windows 365 desktops. So the one with the AI features enabled is what you see here, AI enabled Frontier, right? So that's how I know it's enabled. So this won't appear until you configure all the policy settings that we just showed you. So you basically need to just make sure that this is set to AI enabled. And then once you log onto the machine, which we'll do now, and there's a couple of different places where we can check to see whether it's enabled as well. So I'll just very quickly show you where those settings are. Okay, the first thing that you see here in the start menu, we have a little like star icon over to set. So that's the first place to look to see. You probably can't see that actually because my display resolution's showing it. But what I'll do is I'll put a screenshot in there showing that feature, but you'll see a little star icon next to the search bar. The other place to check to see whether you've got this enabled is if you go to System, and then if I go to AI Components, what I can see here, and you can see here, is found free components. We can see AI image extraction, we can see AI image search, and we can see AI semantic analysis. So let's just quickly go through what they are. So AI image extraction is the basically ability to extract stuff from images, right? So think about text, receipts, able to look at images and see what that image is, for example. So if you do a lot of document processing where you need to extract a lot of text from a document and maybe import that into another system or something, that's a really useful feature. And the good thing is as well, like from a data security perspective, all this happens on the local device itself, right? So if you don't want any data being extracted anywhere else, I mean, it's quite a good thing for security. So definitely one of the benefits there. And the next one is AI image search. So I can search for anything, a text, and it'll search through all my images for that text as well. And we'll go through that when we show you the demo. And then AI semantic analysis is basically the ability to do free text search against anything within the documents. So I can just do free text search from the search bar, show me all the documents or summarize document, that type of thing as well. And we'll go through that when we go through the demo, right? So that's how you check on the actual device itself. And the other way to check to see whether you've got this enabled, if I go to one of my documents, for example, say go to this document here, if I right click on that document and then click show more options, I have these things here. So I've got summarize, create an FAQ, ask a question, so do stuff, right? And then if I do the same thing for a picture, if I go to can't remap and go to show more options, we can see there you've got explain image, extract text, ask a question. So that's the AI features that you don't normally get with the Copilot Plus. Okay. All right. So what we'll do now is we'll go over to the Intune portal and see for you as an admin and to see where you can check to see whether it's enabled. Do that now. All right. So we're in the Intune portal. So if you want to check to see whether a device has been enabled for AI functionality, you can go into Windows 365 devices overview. And then if we go into our devices, so if I just go down to here, go to Cloud Overview, go to my provision devices, and it's this one here, so it's Experience Cloud PC. And then if I basically just click on that device there, we can see here where it says AI enabled, right? So that's going to tell us whether that device has actually been enabled for the AI functionality. And then if I just go look at another one, for example, that hasn't been enabled for AI, and we'll have a look in there and we'll see AI enabled equals no. So if you, an admin, want to see which devices are actually enabled or not, and we can go in there and see them in there. Okay. All right, so let's now think about what it's actually doing for us. Why are we paying this extra money and why are we enabling all these features? What this gives us extra capabilities around searching documents, extracting data from documents, all the stuff that you normally get on a Copilot Plus PC that uses the local NPU. Right? Obviously, on a Windows 365 desktop, we don't get an NPU. So what can we do? So as I mentioned, the main use case I can think about is like text extraction, ability to search through images on math. So maybe you do a lot of OCR stuff and you need to extract a lot of stuff from documents, for example. So let's have a look. So I'm on the Windows 365 device, right? So you can see here. So in here, I've got this document. Okay. This document is just a invoice. In there, I've got project consulting. Now, maybe I've remembered the product is product consulting, right? But if I've got this document and I've not touched it in a year and I want to find what that invoice is for, obviously, historically, we could only remember by file name, right? And we won't know what's in the document. But what I can do now is, I know you can't see it on the screen, but in the search bar, I'm just going to type in projects consulting. And you see there in the photos, it's built up that document, projects performer invoice example.png, right? So that means it searched the text inside that document to give me what I need for my search. Say, for example, the same thing. I've got this car remap, right? So this is an old car that I had. So I'm just going to search for the registration number, right? Because the registration number is on the invoice. So I'm just going to type in YE65. And you can see there, it's brought up the car remap. Rather than me having to start opening lots of different documents looking for it, I can just type free text, type in what's in the document. This is insanely powerful. This is really powerful because it means I just need to remember one thing that was in that document and it will go through and it will search that. So, for example, I've got a presentation there, like as a virtual desktop 2022 edition. So I could just type in virtual desktop. So it's brought up the presentation. But if I open up this presentation, for example, so let's do a search for something inside there. So this is, let's say, let's take Azure AD join requirements. Let's see if it remembers that. Yep. Okay, whatever. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm going to go into here and just type in Azure AD join. So again, it's brought me to that document. So it just enables us to find stuff a lot easier. So that's the first bonus that you get, right? The second one is around the ability to basically interrogate documents more. What do we mean by that? So if I click on show more options, so let's go back to the invoice. If I go to show more options, and then if I go to explain image as text or ask a question. So let's try explaining the image. So I'm going to click explain image, and that's basically going to go away and it will explain what this document is for me, right? So I can say explain this image. So it's going there and it's going to tell me. There you go. It's basically saying exactly what it is, who the buyer is, what the invoice is, and all the details. And then you can just copy and paste stuff within there as well. Okay, so again, very useful. But the most useful stuff is if I go to, again, do the same thing, get some more options, I can extract text. So maybe I need to copy and paste this to a invoicing system or something, or my expenses system. So I can just click here, go to extract text, and that's going to go in there, and it'll go away, and it will extract the text for me, so I can then do stuff with that text, right? So give it a minute, extracting the text from the image. So there you go, it's extracted the text from the image. Is complete text, right? So if you need it in a sort of table or format, I want to extract specific detail, just let me know. So I can say, yes, please convert this into a spreadsheet. So I can tell it to go do stuff, right? So see what that does. So there you go. It's actually said, yep, I've extracted information into a spreadsheet. And if we head over into here, there you go. I can see that information is now on that spreadsheet. So again, that's done locally on the NPU. We're not using any external AI functionality here. It's all done locally. We've not gone to ChatGPT. We've not updated it anywhere. All the information stayed local. And the thing, to me, that's the most powerful thing here. I can click in here, invoice summary, for example. So if you've got a lot of different summaries, just have it all within there. Very cool. And the next thing we can do with those documents, again, so if I go to presentation one, for example, and click show more options, I can write an FAQ. It's asking me to summarize it. We're going to summarize this one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to summarize this presentation. So I can right click here, go to show more options, and I want it to summarize the presentation for me. Okay, so go to here. This is a presentation from 2022, and it's basically reading the presentation locally. Again, I've not had to upload it into anything. It's reading all this stuff locally, and then it's basically gone through and given me a nice summary of the presentation. So that's good. And final one is around sort of images and stuff. What I can do, I can convert text images into different languages, right? So let's have a look at that. So if I can go to, I've got this here. So this is a bit of German text that I've random German text that I've downloaded from the internet. So what I'm able to do here is we can go to show more options, and I'm going to extract the text from that. So it's going in there, it's extracting the text from the actual image, and then I can ask it to do stuff. So for example, I'm going to ask it to convert this into English for me. Yep, so there you go. You can see there we've got the kind of German text coming up. So I'm just going to say, please convert this into English. Okay, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it's now going to go away and it'll convert all that into English. So there you go. It's gone away and converted that into English for me as well. Okay, so that's the features. Super cool, right? I thought they were really good, really interesting. As I said, there's lots of other stuff you can do, like you can point to images and say, tell me what this image is, those kind of things as well. Yeah, look, for me, the benefits of this are the fact that everything stays local and it's getting converted locally. So we're not using any cloud services to do this, and it's not having to go off to any other third party text converters or anything like that, like using ChatGPT or Claude. It's all done locally on the NPU or the CPU. So the security, I guess that's really important. Is it for everyone? Probably not. I guess this is probably, I wouldn't want to have to pay lots of money for this every month. For me, with the discount, the desktop was like £80 a month. I can buy a laptop with Copilot enabled for £400 or £500, and within 4 or 5 months I've paid for it. It's an expensive desktop, but if you are in a scenario where you have a lot of workers who need this kind of functionality, you need the security that this gives you, the fact that it's processing everything locally. You do a lot of document text extraction and you have a general business use case for these kind of functionalities. This is really good, right? Because it means you don't have to buy like physical laptops. We all know there's a hardware shortage at the moment. Laptops are getting very expensive. So it means we don't have to buy and ship laptops out to people to get to use this kind of functionality, right? It means that we can just basically buy a bunch of licenses, send them off to your team, and they can then do OCR document recognition or text extraction or whatever they do as a business process. I think this is definitely the use case that this is designed for. So I went into this demo actually being a bit skeptical, but I'm actually quite impressed about the capabilities of what it can do, how fast it is. So yeah, I'm smitten. It's the price that to me is the off-putting thing, but as a technology, it's amazing. There's so much use cases that I can think of that you use these for. So yeah, that's Copilot Plus for Windows 365. I'm a fan, definitely a fan. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. If you're going to plan on using it in your environment, please drop a comment below and see what your thoughts are about it as well. Hopefully we'll see a lot more use cases out of it. I know Microsoft is potentially looking at making this available for smaller SKUs. For me, the sweet spot will be, if this is available on the 4 CPU 16 gig SKU, I'd definitely see the adoption of this because I'd use it personally because my physical PC is not a AI enabled, right? It's not Copilot Plus enabled. I'd definitely use this just for these kind of features. So that's me. All right. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.